Hey there. I want to film my uh, town build for the weekly competition for the August 3rd through 8th week of Town Star. If you saw my prelude, um, you can see that this is the grape build that I used to get it set up for um, just to generate some income, some money into my bank so that I can um, do a build out. And right now I'm taking some of these spots that I really haven't been using, and I am going to put some wells in. What I decided to do was, and the wells are under the farm tab. If anybody is that new, you probably should watch my earlier videos about like the forest build or the desert build or plains, improved plains. Actually, the original one works, but it's not as quick to get started using that methodology as it is using my new one. Now I'm leaving this open for a wind turbine, and I'm not going to start it right now. I'm not really ready to build any buildings. What I have done is I turned off my refinery that makes petroleum. I can just leave the one that makes gas on. It's not going to hurt anything. It won't make gas because it has no petroleum. But that allows me to, and as I keep selling, there'll be more room in there. That allows me to actually get crude oil from these oil pumps, and I've turned on this power plant. You just go under craft and you can start or stop these. Um, so I've turned that on to generate some energy. So that's how I'm going to, until I need energy at a faster pace, I'm going to utilize that methodology. I've already made one energy and I just made the change. And sorry I didn't click over to and start this video. I almost forgot to start it. Okay, so what I have decided to do is I need at some point, I'm going to need, okay, let's talk about the cake build in case you haven't seen my cake build series that starts with Salty Star. Okay, to make a cake, it requires energy, sugar, and batter. To make batter, it requires flour, um, eggs, and butter. To make butter, it requires sugar, salt, and milk. So I've got to start planning for setting up a process to, and I do it that way. I start at the end and look at what it takes to get there and back my way down to, that way I can find a starting point. And to me, the starting point, it could be salt or sugar or milk, but I'm looking at really all three of those. So I want to get a process in place that will allow me to make sugar, salt, and milk. So what I need to do in order to make salt, and if you haven't seen my salt video, look at that, how to make salt. You want to start with a place next to the ocean. And I think that based on my experience with uh, cake towns, I would say that 5 spots for salt, since I'm not if you were generating salt to make a profit, you might want to use more than that. But for this amount of salt that it takes to make the amount of butter that I'm going to need in my cake process, 5 spots will be more than enough. Now, the first thing that you notice, or that I notice, is I'm going to have to rehome a couple of loggers. In fact, I've got 4 loggers in this area that I need to replace. So what I'll end up doing is figuring out where I can put them. I might just like make them along the side. Probably if I can figure out how far I want to go, by the side, here's what I mean, is like where my trees are going to be. I don't want to have a windmill right here because it would, they do 3 shade and it would shade all the way back to here. Now, if I did a logger house, it shades too. So I don't want a logger that close. What could I put this close? I could put a wood shed that only, or a lumber yard or a wood shed that only does 1 shade. I could put a storehouse that only does 1 shade. I could do an ATV that only does 1 shade. So I need to figure out where my crops are going to be, where my roads are going to be, and then build out, like I say, certain things I could put right next to the road. Other things I might want to put like the next row over. And then when you get 3 away, then you can start talking about putting windmills. So most likely I'm going to try and confine my crops down to, and by crops, what I mean is, of course, I'm going to have salt and it has to be by the ocean. So the salt is over here. The salt, however, is not affected by, it is going to be affected by pollution, I think. Okay, so I'm going to have to do a test and see. I might have to put my salt over here, my salt, and I'm going to want to keep my cows and chickens right next to the salt. And so therefore, let me think about, let me do a test and find out if I can put salt over here. But I believe that the pollution, now that I'm doing some analytics here in my head, I believe the pollution will, let me just go ahead and drop a salt field here and test it. The pollution may be a problem, and it may be for my cows as well. So, so it's going to be a little more of a, I'm sorry, I'm trying to talk and think at the same time. It's going to be, if I have to move like this stuff down to here, or even somewhere else, it's going to be more of a disruption. But it's still viable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we're still dealing with the pollution. It might turn out that I have to figure out how I can do salt on each side. Do a couple down here and a couple down here, which I think at the minimum I want 4 salt fields, and the maximum I would definitely not need more than 5. So let me do a little analytics and I'll come back. Sorry about that. And this is going to be salt in my grapes, so that's not going to be good. But let's see. I've got 2, 4, 6. Okay, so what I can do is I had cleared this spot. I had a builder here. I had cleared it to put a trade pier, and I had to sell something to just I don't know, get rid of it. Let's see what place we've dropped to. We've already dropped to 79th place. You saw my prelude, which is like right before this. We were in, I think, 76th place the last I checked. So we're dropping like a rock. But anyway, I had to put a trade pier over here to sell something. And I can put one back to sell brine. I'll just generate 10 of them, and that way I can get it out of my silos. Or I could wait until I sell grapes and then just flush whatever silo they're in. Either way works. Just figure out what works. And I'm expecting any minute for some farmers to bring water over. Here we go. We got one farmer who is alert and wanting us to grow salt. Here we go. There's another one. Oh, now we got more than enough. It took them a minute. I guess they wanted to tend to the grapes first. That should be a priority in some cases, and it's not. But all right. So it grows green here. So I think we're going to be fine. I'm going to go ahead and probably I'm going to just remove that before it generates. Okay, so I think we're okay. This is a refinery 1, 2, it's within 3, and refineries have a reach of 4, right? So it's not affected by the refinery. So we're good, at least right here, which, like I said, I think all we need is 4. But I want to now test the cows and check and see if they wait a minute. That's going to be a bigger process, because in order to test the cows, then I'm going to have to make the cows, the rancher, the trough, the grinder, the let's see what else is required. Wheat, a trough, all this business. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. This is actually the level. This is where I wanted to put it. I'm going to have to do that test, but I don't have to do that test right here with everyone watching. What I'll do is I can just I don't really want to clear this area out if I'm not going to use it, but what I could do is if I clear this out and I end up doing the thing down here, I could put some silos down here so that I can clear this area out, and I could also put the freight pier. Now, let me caution you guys about if you put your freight pier next to crops, evidently it's not going to bother the salt. But if you put it next to any other crops, you have to give it 3 spaces for a freight pier. Now, the trade pier, I think, is just 2. like the, anyway, I need to make another video about the trade things. But this is our start, off to a little bit of a slow start. Let me do some research and I'll come back and let you know how I'm going to get the first part of our journey, which is going to be the cows, the salt or the brine, and the sugar cane. And the sugar cane shouldn't be a problem. It'll be just a matter of come down here, and if I put, I'm probably going to want about, let me look at my example too. The ability to do about maybe 6 sugar cane plants. So if I'm doing it right here in this corner, and I don't have to do it right here, if I end up moving the trees over, then I just need to make sure that I have enough room. However, if I do move the trees, if I can utilize this water as a help for that. But as you know, the river gives 5, and so I need 3 more. So if I did a pond here, that gives them all 3 of these on the bottom 7, and another pond here gives it's 2 over, so it gives it all 1. So that would give all 3 of these 8 by having 2 ponds here. Now these get 4, and so if you've got 4 plus, they would be touching these 2, and so that would give each of these 8. So that right there gives me 5 spots to grow sugarcane. And just for safety's sake, we probably want maybe 2 more than that, just to make sure we have enough. And so that's 5. So, okay, 5 for these spots give 3 water just by being by the river, 3 up from the river. And then they touch the pond that would be here and here. So that's 3 plus the 4 for the 2 ponds. It would be 7. So these 2 are just 1 short on water. So if I make a pond up here, then that would give these 2 8. So that would give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sugarcane plants off of adding 3 ponds. Okay. If I end up moving the trees down at least 2 spots, then obviously that's where I'm looking at a pond. So all I would end up having to add then for that would be 2 spots, and then I would have a lot more for the sugarcane. So if I have to move it more than 2, if I had to move down to the trees down to here, then that would probably, well, if I had to move it here, I'd have these 3 ponds, and then this pond would give yeah, that wouldn't work out the way you would think, because these 2 ponds, if we had a row here, they would reach 2 for this and 1 for this. So they wouldn't reach this row, and this row would need an additional water because it'd only have 5, 6, 7, right? So, you know, right now I'm just like totally speculating. What I want to do is figure out if I can put my cows, chickens, and salt over in this corner. And if I can, I'll come back and explain how I'm going to set it up. And if I cannot, then this is going to be my only other option. And power plants, refineries take 4, right? But power plants only do 3. So, excuse me. And we know that these are not bothering the salt. So, we could, I'll just have to figure out how I'm going to set up the cows and everything. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause the video here. I know this is getting tedious conversation, but I'll come back and let you know what I'm going to do. All right, I just want to come back and show you the test that I'm doing. I've got the cow over there where I wanted to test it, and I've got I've planted a wheat plant. Now I'm counting how many we're doing, and he's taking my 8th piece of wheat. But even if I did 10 instead of 8, I can just let the rancher, after I delete the plant, let the rancher get the wheat and grind it and put it in the feed trough, and then I can get rid of all the wheat from uh, the silos and not have to worry about it. So that's one way to get wheat out of your silos. If you get some in there, just let a rancher get it and grind it, and you won't have that problem. Now, if you notice the cow, he's got to walk. He's walking slow, but man, he can move on some pavement, can he? So anyway, he is up to 3 feed, and it's a very cute little cow right there. He looks like he's trying to grow horns, but not really. But maybe I'm just not seeing it correctly. And he's full of milk. I'll tell you what, he's ready to be milked. Except for he don't have enough feed yet. So we're halfway there. I don't want to keep you and make this too long and drawn out. I don't want my videos running forever, but we're going to do a test and see, is this, and this right here is as close as I would need to be to that, because I'd have a pond here, a cow here, a pond here, and a cow here. If this turns out to be a problem area, then I may just delete this, and since I've got it set up, and try some other spots and see what is the closest I can be to the to this. But here's one thing about cows I don't know. I made a video about it, but if you haven't seen all the things about cows, the barn takes up or gives off 2 shade. So I can't just put a cow, well, I could if I leave the road there. I could put it here, but I'm going to rework this area. And I'm going to put them here. But if I, have to move them over some which way, I just have to be careful, is all I'm saying. Because if I put them this close to the trees, it would give 1 shade. And I don't want to mess my trees up. You can get away with not having a ton of trees. And you could get away with having, when you've got the lumberjacks that are coming and picking the trees, if they're running them around to different windmills and things, you can get away with having more lumberjacks than you do trees. Not a lot more, but you can get away with that and they'll be fine. But we'll talk about all that. I just don't want to shade my trees, put it that way. All right, so I'll be back. All right. If you notice, we are yellow, and that is not good. I'm going to try deleting this refinery, and I'll explain that, and then see. Oh, I don't know. I think it turned it green. I'm going to do the test one more time, and the reason why I just went and arbitrarily deleted that because it wasn't arbitrary. What I have thought about is that it's just going to be so much easier to be over here. She's going to destroy that milk because I don't have it set up to get milk yet because I don't. I'm just doing testing right now. Haven't figured out where I want a storehouse or anything else. But okay, so back to the discussion at hand. Deleted this refinery, and we talked about the power plant has less reach. 1, 2, 3. So that should be perfectly fine right there. What I can do is just remove this and pave this and put my refinery right here. So that's going to be perfect. I can save this spot for, well, one thing, if I need it ahead of time, I could put a lumber mill here. But probably not going to need that because this one will, with the number of, I only have, oh shoot, well, that'll be all right once this road is paved. How many loggers do I have? I only have 6 loggers total right now. Because when you're just running, once you get everything built and you're just running a grape town, and that's yellow right now because of 2 shade from this. And this is temporary. This is for testing. I lost count of my wheat, and it looks like we've got 3 wheat out of 8 or out of 7 that we need because he's already eaten 1. So a few more wheat and we'll be done with that. Our road is ready, yay. All right, so we're going to put a refinery here. Then we're fine with the corner that we picked out, which is a relief because and anyway, I can put a cakery here and I could put one here or here. We'll need to relocate that. And then I'll have 2 by the power plant, okay? Or if I, like in my other build, I had to do ahead on lumber. And this is a little bit risky in a way. It could cost you to have to delete something and put another lumber mill there. But I can end up, once I get everything built, create some lumber so that I know that I have enough to make my build, delete that and put a cakery here. And then it's no big deal. You don't need a lumber mill once you have everything built out, as long as you have enough lumber to do whatever last build you need. It's like that would be, and for me, my last thing, but it doesn't have to be, just however you manage it. Just letting you know that that is a possibility. Now this is going to start off on go. And since I have 20 energy, I'm just going to let it go. And I'm just going to, wait a minute, wrong one. And I'm just going to stop this guy for right now because we're not that low on gas, but we're running a little lower than we could. And it doesn't really matter that much because we are going to phase out selling grapes anyway. But as I'm building, I can leave like start maybe over here and cut them back, and then maybe in the middle start cutting back, but leave as many as I can for as long as I can, then continue to sell grapes, which is twofold. It gives us some money to deal with, and it also gives us points while we're doing our build out. If you notice, we've already dropped to 80, and that's something that I'll probably drive you guys crazy with that. I think I have enough wheat just for this last test. So I deleted that, and it looked like it was good, but you'll know either way. I'll come back at some point and let you know, but I might just go ahead and start working on this area. All right, so I'll be back. Okay, just want to come back and show the results. We are in the green now. So that is good. It looks like we are fine with our plan. Let me just get rid of this and that and this, and we'll get rid of this. Okay, so what we've got here is we have to grow wheat and sugar cane. So this is 5, 4, 3. Okay, wheat takes 3 water, so it will be fine. And I think we need about 5 rows of wheat. Okay, so wheat can be this little containment here. And then I'll do the sugar cane like I talked about. I'll make a pond here, and potentially one up from that. I think is what I said. I'll have to look at it and really figure it out. If you miscalculate even one water, then it can cause you to be aggravated with it. Okay, but what I do is I put 3 water on each side of my trees. And the reason why I do that is because, well, because this will give each one 2, 4, and then this will give it 1, and then this will give, let's see, 1, and this will give 1. So on the ends, that would be 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that gives the whole grouping inside the 3 ponds 6 water. So right now, I want to, and if you built this out, if you wanted 4, you could build it out to be 4, and it would just give you 8 trees. So what I want to do now is figure out, I've got this source, like at this point, these give you 2 water each, and these give 1 water each. So I want to figure out what I can do to, like this would be, I would expect 2, 4, 5 from this one side, but it also gives passive water to that. So if I start over here at the point where it gives 2 automatically, then I could do away with maybe 1 pond, but I might not. So I need to do a little calculating. I might rather start my trees actually down here and start my wheat over, or do wheat on both sides of the sugar cane. But I'll decide, let me look at it for a minute, do some analysis, and I'll come back and let you know what I'm going to do. But once, the reason why I'm concerned about trees next is because I need to make more room for what I decided to do. Salt. The salt definitely has to be over here. And in order to facilitate the salt, I need a pond here, a pond here, and a pond here. So I need to relocate some of these guys, and I can do some better relocation once I find out where I'm going to contain my crops. That way I can plan it where, like I said, the buildings that give one can be next to the road between the crops, and then stuff like the loggers and farmers can be in between that, and then you can start your windmills. And so anyway, I need to get busy with this build because we are falling further and further behind. We're number 80 already. So I'll be back. Okay, real quick, I just want to tell you that I have decided how I am going to do my crops. I'm going to have trees in this area all the way up to here. And I'm doing the road off now. As far as what can I use for sugar cane, I can use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and possibly 7 spots, okay, if I need it. If I don't need it, like this spot, for example, I could, or maybe even these two, I could use for trees if I wanted, or really anything, but I'm planning to use this. I've got, well, these first two are going to be sugarcane. This can be wheat. Then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of what I can use for wheat. And right now, I'm kind of sectioning off my crops from everything else because I like to make a note of where I can build to. And sometimes I make in dirt roads around this. That way, if I'm looking at something that only, takes up or does one shade, then I know that I can just remove a dirt road part and put there. But that way I don't mess up and put like a farmhouse or a tractor or a logger or something really close to the road. But I'm probably not going to do that in this case since I'm growing grapes and I want to be able to get some income as long as I can because like I said before, we're at 79. I think I dropped to 80, but have gone back to 79 now. So, we're still in the top 100, so that's good. But we could get knocked out of that in a hurry. So what I'm probably going to do is maybe leave these trees and plant more up in this area and then start working on this area. I've got to figure out though how to go about getting some logger houses and actually without these farmhouses I'll be fine because one thing I don't have to tend to the grapes as diligently because we're phasing them out anyway. And I'm just like keeping them as long as I can because some points are better than no points. But if we did away with them altogether, that'd be okay. Another thing that you need to think about is if I've got these grapes and I'm like trying to build it out, I can't just delete the ponds that give water to particular grapes. Now, sorry about that. Grapes only need 2 water. So if I look at this and I say, well, this pond takes care of all the ones around it. So if I delete this pond, I can delete this hole. I need to delete all these grapes that are associated with it. Even though this gets 3 water because it gets 1 from this pond, I can delete it because this grapes only need 2 and the pond that it's touching gives it the 2 that it needs. So that's just another consideration while you're doing your build out, but I'm sure you'll realize as soon as your farmers start freaking out and having to water all those that could be an issue. So I'm going to just start removing, and what I like to do is just after they pick it, for some reason I hate to take grapes that are about to bloom. So after they pick ones in this area, I might have missed that one already, so I'll just delete it. Then I'm going to go ahead and start doing some trees. Anyway, you kind of see where I'm going with this preliminary build so far. And so that's where we are right now. I just wanted you to see how I've kind of planned for it. I think I'm going to go right through this area. And the added trees, I've got to get more loggers going, but the added trees for now will also be good. It will help facilitate me running the lumber mill more because I need to create lumber, takes 5 lumber for every one of these buildings that we're going to build. And here's the thing with the farmers, though. I mean, you might look at it and you say, well, why would you delete some of these and just to rebuild them? But because of our strategy of having the buildings with 1 shade, 2 shade, and then 3 shade around, then these farmers might be in a spot where I could use to put a windmill. And like I say, I can't put windmills or anything too close to the crops. That if it's going to cause shade on the crops, then it doesn't need to be in that spot if you can avoid it. You can work with shaded crops, but I get frustrated with that sometimes. And then sometimes I'm good with it because it's the best I can do. But anyway, this is where we are. I am getting some trees set up, and what I want to do is, now that I've figured out my boundaries, I want to start building some, let's see, and this right here, I think is going to be our upper boundary for trees. So we could have a boundary here and then likewise do some building out, but I don't really want to delete that many trees at this time. I'm definitely going to delete these. But anyway, I'll figure out what I'm going to do, and come back and let you know. But basically, what I'm figuring out, if you are kind of trying to see what my thinking is, so you can do that for yourself when it's appropriate. I need to figure out how to get some loggers going because I'm about to delete 4 of my 6. And for the town that I'm going to build, I'm probably going to need I would say 10 to 15. I'll decide what number is appropriate. On the other example that I built, I think I had 13, and that worked out nicely. So that might be a goal that I want to get between 12 and 14 loggers. So, that being said, I definitely at least want to replace these 4, if not get more than that. So I'll probably just end up having to delete more grapes and get some loggers going around this area. And what I can do is, let me plant some grapes right there. What I could do is, this area is not going to be affected by my build out as far as I've defined my boundary. I've got my water set up, so the irrigation is good. The boundary is set in stone. So at least this little area of grapes is probably going to be good to go unless I need to put more trees over here. They'll be good to go for quite a while till I get ready to do my crops, which I'm not sure how long that'll be. So anyway, that's where we are. I've got to figure out how to put loggers around here. And now back in the corner, where we're trying to put boundaries, we can put windmills back along here without bothering anything because we just need 3. 1, 2, 3. So these last 2 rows can have windmills all the way up to, up to about here, and then all of this area, 3 back, can have windmills. All these can have windmills. So we're in good shape. I just need to get the boundaries going. And so I'm going to add some loggers in there and delete some of this stuff so I can be working on this little build out over here. All right, so I will be back. Okay, just wanted to show you the progress that we're making. What I've done is I've kind of laid out some road pieces so that I can fill in the gaps with some buildings. And then over here, I've put a few ATVs. I've got a couple more building. I'm probably going to put 2 more loggers right here. I've got my chicken houses ready, which I'm not working on batter at this minute. I'm just working on butter, but I wanted to go ahead and get my farm area set up, or ranch area, whatever you want to call it. And you can see I've got 5 cow pens, cow house, cow barns, whatever you want to call it, and 2 troughs. And I didn't have a lot of room for grinders. I ended up putting 2 over here. So total we got 7 grinders, and this lumber yard turns out to be valuable because of the ranchers not having to go as far to get wood, and they will kind of try to give the livestock some wood. So that's the reason for that being in this area. That was already there, so I didn't have to move it. And I've removed some ponds and grapes, but not all. I'm probably just going to get tired of it pretty soon and just remove all this, probably leave these for right now. It doesn't hurt to have points coming in. We've already dropped to number 82 in the rankings, but hopefully when we get all this built, we will uh, see an improvement there. But I've got these two building. Once I get that done, I'm probably going to leave the ranch area alone for now. I might end up building some more rancher or ATVs down here, but I don't think I need them initially to start with. I just am trying to get enough stuff built that I can um, get started, kind of, if you want to call it that. But so what I want to do is I'm going to delete all of these uh, farmers along the main strip, and I'm going to figure out. I need to have two. Probably start with at least two bakeries making butter, and so I'm going to put two bakeries, and then I need to save room for some more along the strip, but I need to also think about getting some windmills going. So that is going to be one thing that I need to do when I start the windmills making salt and sugar. Then we're going to start having an issue with the silos for grapes. So what I might do, since I'm going to cut down to all of this, is when I sell 100 grapes, maybe trade this barge out, or it's called a freight pier. Maybe delete this and build a trade pier so I can start selling in tins of things, and then I won't have to have uh, 10 silos. I can just have a few. So that will be helpful, and that's probably what I'm going to do. So just giving you an update, let you see where I am, what I'm doing, and it's taken longer than I would like. Right now, it looks like our holdup is energy, partly. Uh, and I'm making energy here, and I'm making energy here. I might need another, probably just go ahead. I don't like to delete grapes that early, but I'm going to go ahead and make another wind turbine so that we can speed that energy up because it's taken too long. So that's where we are. Now I need to um, stop this process and get rid of some of these silos. So I will be back. Okay, I just wanted to mention that I have been using my power plant to make power energy, and therefore I had my um, petroleum turned off. Now I have, now that I'm having to make trips with this uh, little trade pier instead of the freight pier, um, it's more gasoline intensive, and it may be as I end up like leveling out what I've got is I've got one sugarcane plant planted and two salt fields. And because I know that typically one plant will it will run two um, of the windmills. And to make butter, I think I went through the ingredients. It's two milk and two, uh, and that reminds me, I need some wheat also. Two milk and two salt and one sugar. So my ratio of sugar to salt, and I might have to turn some of these cows off because I don't really want 100. This one needs to be facing the other way. All right, I don't really want that much milk initially. I'm just getting it started, and I'm not going to come out full force. So I'm going to stop 3 of my. Did I mean to do 6? I think I meant to only do 5 cows. So um, let me remove. Well, I'll just leave it for now. But let me turn 3 of them off, or 4 of them. Just leave 2. Okay. So what I'm doing is waiting for grapes so that I can plant some wheat. I'm going to plant 1 or 2 wheat, and I already have 5 ATVs to take care of the cows, so that's not going to be an issue. And I have 6 windmills. I'm going to have 4 on salt and 2 on sugar because I want a ratio of 2 to 1 on the salt versus sugar. And that's what I've got with the plants. And we'll see how this goes. And so now what I need to do is go ahead and create a bakery for the purpose of making butter. And what I will do is start with one, and once we get it going, I'll go ahead and do another one, and then maybe we can ramp up this stuff a little bit slowly. But right now, all we're trying to do is make butter and sell what little bit of grapes we have left as they pop, and going to work on building out more windmills and whatnot. So that's where we are. Hope everybody's following along okay, and I'll be back. Okay, I have started them up. I don't have anything yet to show. I just was showing you that I've got wheat growing, I've got sugar cane, I've got salt. I've got these activated. These 2 are sugar, and these other 4 are salt. And we're still building the bakery that should be built way before we're even needing it, but just letting you guys see where we are. We've already got wood in our buildings because those lumberjacks are loggers rather are amazing. And so I'll be back. Also, I forgot what I was doing a while ago. I was going to uh, let you know that temporarily I am going to put a couple of oil pumps here just to get caught up. I think I said that, but then didn't do it. But now I'm actually going to do that, and our bakery is ready. we're going to, I activated it. Now we're going to set it for butter. And for whatever reason, it wanted to face that. It's hard to tell where the door is. Wanted to face that road. I wanted to face this road. So there you have it. Our bakery is there. She's just waiting on some stuff. And our cows are already being fed. So that's going. That's looking good. And let's see what else. All right, and we got those oil pumps going. So we should be able to catch up without any problem on the gasoline. I don't recommend more than like 4 oil pumps for one refinery. You may be able to do more than 4, but typically I start collecting crude oil if I get too many, and but I'm not 100% sure on the numbers. I think it's 4, but typically I like to play a desert map, but maybe if this cake thing works out, I'll be playing more of whatever maps I need to play to get that demographic. So we're going to put some more salt fields, but just not right now. I'll probably delete that, but I want to wait until I actually need that spot, so to speak. And what I might do is when I delete the cow that I'm going to delete, I might delete that one and put the chicken house over here. I don't know how I got so excited that I went too far, or I could delete that one. Actually, if I delete this one, I could delete this pond as well. And then I would have 2 spots. Maybe move this over and put two grinders right here or something. I don't know. I'm not worried about it right now. But, once you get your build in place and you're like, oh, I wish I had a spot for this or that, then you really decide what you want that extra spot for. So that's what I'll do. And in case anybody is dying to know where we have dropped to, we are 82. I think that's where we were last time I checked, but regardless, that's where we are now, and we're trying to improve on that and get in a better situation. So anyway, I'll keep going on the build. I think that I'm going to monitor the salt production, and so next in our process is going to be, once we get the butter going, and by the way, I put a storehouse right here. It kind of blends in with the ATVs a little bit. So, and that's another thing that I could do is if I free up this space and put a couple more grinders, I could just put 2 grinders there and not even worry about moving that. Then I could put over here, go ahead and put 2 more storehouses. And then that would give me 3, which would be perfect. And I think I'm going to build 2 more loggers. And let me go ahead while I'm thinking about it and drop those in. And then our little guys will do that. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Because I didn't really love putting the grinders over here, but I needed to. So I'm going to just delete both of these and and put some grinders over here and delete both of these. And I'm going to put some storehouses. The thing is, right now, when I'm building, I tend to I want to do it, get it done right now. And I can tend to get too many things building, and then it feels like it takes forever to build. So what I'm going to do is just drop some things in here and let them build it. And I'm going to go get a cup of coffee and just relax a minute because, believe it or not, even playing a game, sometimes when you make so many decisions, your mind gets tired of making decisions. So I need a quick little break. And I'm not going to sit and watch it. So, you know what they say about a watched pot never boils. So I'm not going to watch this. I'm going to let it simmer for a second. And you can see what I mean about the crude oil. It won't take long to get that gas situation turned around. So that is one good thing. I can feel good about walking away for a minute for a couple of reasons. One, we don't have that many grapes going, and two is we've got 4 silos, so I can very easily, I hope and think, I'm going to put some. I'm going to replace some of these. Probably leave those 2 where they are, and just put some windmills back in the area where those were. And let me see. So right now I am going to go take a break. It looks like we're still waiting on the brine and the sugar cane. And you know what? Here's a little tip. Since we want to kind of spread the workload, we just need to be a little patient with this, because I could drop 5 of them and then all these windmills all at one time get their stuff. But then while they're processing for 4 minutes, then we're going to be filling up our silo with brine or sugarcane or whatever it is. But if we do it like we're doing it now and just kind of monitor it for a few minutes, we're not in a big rush. I know that the pressure is on to, we dropped down to 84 in the last couple minutes, right? So the pressure is on to start getting our points back on the board, but we want our town to function in a good way, and we don't want to try to rush it and then keep having to, build this, delete that, da 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 da. So let's just be a little patient. We've already got 1 sugar, which is awesome. Let me make sure that we don't have anything else, because look at that. We've got 2 milk, and now that we got a sugar, we're just a little behind in the salt, and hopefully we will have some salt soon. It looks like within a minute and within 2 minutes we'll have 1, and then that's still not. We might want to just go with, I know that I said that about the not building it out too fast, but with the salt, another good thing, if you saw my video on salt, you probably know what I'm talking about, but with the salt, we can turn these off. It's got a craft button, and if I want to stop any one of those, then I can. So even if I put 4 of them initially, once it gets going. I kind of want it to spread out though, but once it got going, I could stop it and, if needed. So that is a good thing about that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take a quick break while we're building these loggers, and we're fine logger wise. We've got plenty of uh, wood, and I don't think that we have all that many lumber yards to put it in. So what I'm going to do is build a couple more lumber yards, and maybe, oh, look at that. Probably want to delete these down here. Well, I'll leave, no, I probably want to delete those, because what am I going to be using wood for? We want the loggers to be able to just do the wood, and for the most part, they will populate the windmills. And with the exception of, they will actually bring wood, of course, over to these guys as well. However, the ranchers don't really give them the opportunity a lot of times. So we want wood next to the ranchers because they're impatient. But as far as these other guys, I'm going to go ahead and build several of the lumber yards. And one reason being that there's only so many things that we can build over next to where our right across the street from our crops. One is the uh, lumber yards. I think that will be plenty if we have. In fact, I might delete some of those, but it doesn't hurt to have too many. And as long as you don't need the space. And our ATVs, they're like right across the creek from the trees, and that's okay because these things only take up one shade. So anyway, we're doing good. Just want to give an update on what I'm doing, and our next plan will be, once the salt is kind of going and we're getting butter, then we're going to want to think about batter. But I think I want to ramp up the butter production and at least be able to sell tin butter a couple of times. So once I get these built, I am going to want to build one or two more bakeries. I might go with two, just so that we can feel like we are full-blown butter production. Hey there. Well, what happened was my recording stopped on me. And so I got to a certain point, and you'll see that I intended to show more of this build, but I unfortunately didn't get to. But here's the way it turned out. I've got my trees, sugar cane, wheat. I'm not using all my wheat spots right now. I've still got to keep an eye on things. I've just finished the build, really. I've got farmers, ATVs, loggers, and a whole lot of windmills. And over here's the cows. I've got 5 of them, but one is not activated. 2 chickens, one is not activated. If I need them, they're there, but if I don't need them, I'm not going to activate them. I'm not really caring about selling milk or eggs. I really want to just sell cakes, but there's the salt. We're not using all that. We got room for a little bit of improvement. So if I figure out how to improve things along the way, I can. It looks like nobody's got butter. So butter might be the problem. Looks like we need some more salt. So I'm going to have to look into that. I just ramped up my brine production, so that may actually bring up the salt levels, but we'll see. I'll have to monitor it, like I say. Looks like I'm getting the sugar much improved, and like I say, the flour over here looks pretty good. The eggs look good. So everything seems to be finally coming together. I got down to 102nd, and then I sold cakes, and I went up to 90th, but now I've dropped down a little bit. But that tends to happen. But as long as I stay in the top 100, we'll be good. And I'll make a follow-up video real quick before it's officially over, and you can see if I ended up actually finishing in the top 100 or if people brought their game and put me out of it. But this is it, and I hope that it was helpful and informative and entertaining at least a little bit. And so I will see you in the next video. Thanks very much for watching, and like, share, and subscribe.